If you take a walk through Outward at the moment, you may notice that a lot of trees have been cut down. And if you read the notices that are around, you'll see that they're ash trees, and they've been cut down because of ash dieback. And ash dieback is a fungal disease that affects ash trees, and it's going to affect about 80% of the ash trees in this country. And as they die, the branches get more brittle, and there's a danger that they would fall on people. So the National Trust is cutting the trees down. And it's leaving piles of logs around. And piles of logs make homes for rodents and insects and all the natural diversity of the woodland. Although I have noticed that some of the piles of logs are going down a bit, and maybe people are collecting the logs for their log burners or log fires. And you know, ash trees burn very well, they give out good heat. In other words, ash makes very good ash. And it's no coincidence that that word has those two meanings, of the tree and of the stuff when the tree is burnt. Because if you trace the word ash back through its Anglo-Saxon roots and beyond, you'll see that those two meanings are rooted in the same word. Ash turns to ash. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, earth to earth. And actually, if you leave these logs here long enough, they'll go back to the earth. They'll rot away and become part of the soil. Reminds you of the hymn, "Abide with me. Change and decay in all around I see." But I always think of those words as very positive words. As the ash decays and goes back to the earth, ash to ash, dust to dust, earth to earth, it gives life, not only while it's there for the insects, but it enriches the soil and new life comes from it. It's all part of the cycle of life. And we are all part of the cycle of life. As Tony reminded us, if we were in church today for the Ash Wednesday service, you would come forward and I would make the sign of the cross in ash on your forehead. And I'd say the words, "Remember you are dust, and to dust you shall return." The cycle of life. And actually, thinking about it, it's strange that I put ash on your forehead and I say, "Remember you are dust." I could say, "Remember you are ash, and to ash you shall return." Or I could say, "Remember you are earth, and to earth you shall return." And of course, all those words remind us of the Genesis creation story, when Adam is formed from the dust of the earth. And his name Adamar means earth, means dust. That's why he's called Adam. And our earthiness, our human bodies, go back to the earth. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes. And our spirits, they go back to where they came from. They go back to God. Now, we're not in church today, so I can't make the sign of the cross in ash on your forehead. But I'm going to invite you to make the sign of the cross on yourself. You could do that with ash if you've got a log burner, but you could also do it with earth. You might just have a little bit of earth in a pot plant, or else just a little bit of earth from your garden. And take a bit of earth, and on your forehead make the sign of the cross. And as you make the sign of the cross, say the words that I would have said to you. Remember, you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Now, when you look at my earthy cross, and I say when you look at my earthy cross because I can't actually see if I've made a cross. And that always reminds me of Ash Wednesday when I make the sign of the cross and you look at people and you see the ash cross on their foreheads and you think, oh, they look a bit funny with that cross on their foreheads. But of course, you can't see your own cross. I can't see my cross. And the earthy cross reminds me of my earthiness. It reminds me of my humanness and my human frailties. It reminds me of the cross that Jesus died upon for my frailties, my shortcomings, and my failures. And we all have them. And Ash Wednesday is a time for thinking about them. But you know, the fact that I can't see my cross, but you can, reminds us that for all of us it's sometimes easier to see the faults in others than it is to see them in ourselves. It's very easy to point the finger at other people. And sometimes the faults that we see in others are the biggest faults that are in ourselves. And that's why we see them in other people. Now, going back to our gospel reading that Tony read to us earlier, we don't stone people these days, but we can still pass judgment on other people. Look at them. We point the finger. But I would just say to you, if you want to give something up for Lent, give up judging other people. Because remember, when you point the finger at somebody else, 3 fingers are pointing back at you.